pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I have to keep going? So, first on the agenda is to reorganize the select board. So first is the chair.
Yeah.
So, commence amongst yourselves on who you want for chair.
I'm thinking it's been going well, so do we want to stay the same?
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Can I make a motion for Andy for chair?
I'll second.
Any opposed to that, or any discussion? And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now the votes will be recorded.
It wasn't recorded. So we had a vice chair, we've been having a vice chair the last few times. Sherry's been the vice chair, we wanna move on and keep it the same, you're good with that, just if I don't, not here. So Sherry, I'll make a motion for you to be the vice chair.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Alright, so then we go on to the positions. Start out with highway,
I'd like to stay.
and I think you're doing a great job there, so I'll make a motion, hopefully.
So who's making that motion? You both
It
said.
don't matter, one can be first, one
Give
can be
us
second.
one, give us, yeah.
Okay.
There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Buildings.
I'm interested in keeping it, got a lot of things in the frying pan right now.
Okay. I'll make a motion, Sherry.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none? Water and sewer. Alan has stepped up as co last. I've actually worked part, and I think Alan's done a good job on the policies, from what I remember. I would like to stay involved with it as also. How do you feel, Alan?
I'm okay with keeping it the same.
Okay. So, I'm not gonna give a motion to myself, but
I'll make a motion to keep it the same for the water and sewer. Andy is being one and Alan being as one.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. So we have parks, playgrounds, and cemeteries.
Bring it on.
Aye.
I make a motion for Kristen to stay overseeing parks, playgrounds, and cemeteries.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Alright, so that's that part for the board, right? Am I missing anything?
We still got your ambulance, fire, right?
Yeah, that's.
Oh,
this
that would
just-
guess would be.
Yeah, yeah. Other appointed officers.
Kylie had mentioned that Tracy was so interested in animal control.
Okay,
I'd make a motion to keep her as animal control.
do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor of making Tracy Ovitt animal control officer for 2023? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? assistant town clerk, we have to actually,
No,
that's
I was gonna say,
a paid position.
Yeah.
it's, I'm
Yeah,
looking at
that's-
other appointed officers and I'm seeing that.
Well, the assistant's appointed by the town clerk.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had it, she's
Yeah.
got that.
alright.
Health officer,
The Conservation Commission will come to us when they're ready, correct?
is, Teresa Leonard still interested in health officer?
I'm looking for the health officer part, where page are you on?
The second,
7.
Health officer, so we have Teresa Leonard, and that was,
Alright, make a motion to keep her as health officer, if she wants to.
okay. So you're making a motion for that, Sherry?
Yes.
Alright, I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye. Housing code enforcement, that's to 2025. Regional Planning Commission, Rowena is resigning, so we have to find someone to be our representative. Does anyone in here wanna volunteer for that? Does anyone have any ideas?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
just,
Just write down vacant for now.
yeah.
and maybe
Yeah.
bring it back.
And we'll think on it for next.
Yeah, I'm not.
What exactly does that position do?
I
Honestly,
think there's a representative for
yeah.
the regional planning commission.
Right, it's similar to what we do here for planning. but it's
Alan, do you
in-
know
for
much
the
about
region.
that?
No, I don't.
I think they have meetings
Normally,
once a
the
month.
person already serving on your planning would,
Already planning, on the planning board with,
that's your
okay,
key place to head.
okay.
That works.
Alright. Revolving fund loan, that's all done. We have to go through the road foreman. Everyone happy with Jason?
Yes,
Get a motion for Jason?
I make a motion.
All, I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Jason. Town ambulance manager, they've got it listed under the town of Richford. Sherry and I have been co-in that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we don't officially have one, we've just been doing the payroll and overseeing any issues.
Yeah, so,
I'd be fine with it, continue with that.
same as me, same here, if anyone has anything?
That's for town ambulance, or ambulance.
Yeah. To keep it as is.
Do we motion ourselves, or do we have to wait?
I don't think we can.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna say,
Somebody else has to motion us.
Okay, I make a motion that Sherry and Andy
I'll second that.
stay as the ambulance managers.
okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay. Town attorney. Brian, how do you say his last name, Monahan?
Monument, I think.
Yeah. Are we,
Are these actually nominated positions, like, or are they more, is that more of like just a selection?
I'm not sure, Holly.
Yeah, I don't think we need to vote on that one. I think we can choose who we want to represent us.
Okay.
Town energy coordinator, same.
Mhm.
Town fire warden, I know Paul had mentioned, I think his term's up this year, I'm not 100% sure, but he had mentioned that he wasn't interested the last that I knew in another term on that.
And this is the state level, right?
This is the state fire
Yeah.
forest warden,
Okay.
forest fire warden.
Do you have anybody else at the
Um,
fire department that would be interested?
I can speak up and ask at the next meeting, which will be tomorrow.
So,
table that, find out.
Okay. Not do anything for the next one, those are all taken care
Town
of.
Representative, Senators, Solid Waste Commission, Tim Green, this is one that we need to,
Right, and I said I would take that on if I got elected, so.
And Tim did say he was willing to do it if no one would step up again.
Kristen wants to.
Yep.
okay. Town Tree Warden. Good under Danny Parsons. I don't even know what that entitles.
No, I don't either, do you, Alan? Is it just like one of those historic positions?
It is exactly what they do. I don't know. I don't know that we've had Dan do anything on behalf of the town. I think it's just a
Like a historic?
title, yeah.
Okay,
Make a motion to keep it the same.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Nominate Dan for tree warden.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Transportation Advisory Committee, Wally Steenhauer. I'll make a motion that we keep Wally the
I'll
transportation.
second it.
Alrighty.
All those in favor?
Tim attended most of those last year, I'm gonna have to step up my game on those.
All those in favor?
I should ask if you really wanted to do it.
Yeah. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Then we got under contract with Simon. And zoning administrator, John Libby's term runs out on 7/20/23.
So we can address that in July.
Yeah.
How long did the contract for Simon's go, or run through?
It was a 5-year contract. They actually, it was a good deal.
And when was it signed?
Oh, I think it was before I became.
So it's got a couple of years
It's
left?
good, at least 3. Okay. Is that it for offices? Right, so first warden nominations, not fire warden nominations, I got the glasses back on. Got a letter here from Richford Firefighters Association, met March 7th, 2023 to nominate the 3 fire wardens for the 2023-2024 year. Following nominations are Andrew Pond, Shelby Paquette, Thomas Valley, sincerely, Secretary Arthur R. Pond. Pass that down to.
So that's just a straight nomination, no?
That's a nomination,
No type, no job titles though?
that's what we got called out on last year,
Yeah, okay.
so.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
So we need a,
I'll make a motion
To
to
accept.
accept them.
do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hear none, motion passed. And Marina Valen, no, actually I could, guest, recognize guest first. So we have Joey, and we have Carl,
I'm Marlena.
Marlena,
I'm Catherine Director from Regional Planning.
we have Andre from the sheriffs, and we have Eric. Do you have- Just here. Carl?
I'm just here.
Okay.
I'm with Marlena when she's on your agenda.
Okay. We have the sheriff's report.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's nice.
And then, Eric, do you have anything?
I do.
Okay.
Now that you're a newly formed board, looking back at the various recordings made of these sessions through the year, and I wasn't here for all the meetings, 2 things came to light for me personally. It doesn't have to be, it's not an error in process or anything, but Sterling Scale, when they wanted to build here in the early 80s, was offered a tax stabilization plan. Rye brought their brick service here and they requested a tax stabilization plan. A vote was held by the public and passed, so they had a stabilization plan. Then, somewhere between that time and whatever, the voters gave up the right to choose on a special election and gave that choice to the select board. Vermont Wood Products came here at a meeting this past year and asked for some assistance meeting their taxes. Maybe they went about it wrong, but this board could have offered them a tax stabilization plan. And didn't, and kind of left them at, well, we don't know what we can do for you type attitude, when in reality, this board has to step up to the fact that if you want businesses to be here, you need to give them something to get them here.
I was at that meeting, they did not request any assistance through the tax stabilization plan.
No,
They were
didn't.
talking strictly,
Right, they were
A
talking,
grant.
no, they were
talking
looking
of
for,
breaking
Tax
taxes.
reduction.
yeah,
Yeah.
for the,
But that would have been the time to offer them something.
well, this board doesn't have the authority to waive taxes, that has to go to the Board of Abatement.
To waive taxes, correct,
Right.
but I'm not talking about that process.
But that's what they requested.
Yeah, but on the same point, you can stand back and say, but we have this plan. I mean, just because they are asking for one specific thing, it's not a reason to cut them off at the ankles. I just think we need to do more to promote business. And I know that there's one instance where a fellow has decided not to pursue something at the business park level.
Recently?
Recently, he attended several, I'm not mentioning names, he's not here. But you know who he is, and he was right adjacent to the customs building.
Yep.
And on the opposite side of the street of water and sewer. And there was a couple alternatives of water and sewer. But it's just that he was put off long enough that he's chosen to do something else. And I think was a mistake. Because we're looking at $10,000 to $15,000 in tax revenue every year from that process, and that ain't gonna happen. So I'm not criticizing you for what you have done. I'm just asking you to open your minds a little more when people come in front of you and ask for something. What they're asking for, you might not have a pigeonhole for, but you might have a pigeon from another coop that could do something for them. This morning, the governor announced over $400 million being released by the federal government to municipalities for infrastructure. So those grants are gonna go fast, but if you've got anything on the table you're thinking of, you should apply early, vote often. That's all I have.
I agree with you in the sense of being more business friendly. In relation to the gentleman that you're talking about that has decided to do something different, there was lots of efforts made to find ways to help him. And we researched to the point where it became the ball was in his court in order to go under the road and get the necessary permitting, there needed to be an engineered plan, some engineering plans done on his part, and that's why things stalled there. So while I understand we stalled it out, prolonged it a little longer than it should have been, we did pursue it to the point where we discovered that the next step fell on her, in order to, whatever, the next domino was on his side, which is unfortunate. I would love to see him do that piece and we could continue. I agree, 10, 15, probably more than that. If the estimated size of the project he presented, it would probably be more than that. So I mean, I would encourage him to do that piece and we can, revisit it again.
Doesn't have to go before the voters.
Yeah,
The water thing does.
I think
It's in your town charter.
and the town charter,
Anything extending, yeah.
anything extending says it has to go before the
Well,
vote.
that's interesting, because that water sewer thing was based on the old village. So
It
it's,
says anywhere the water lines are extended past where they were when the charter was written.
Well, that's a
If
little
you want the town
ambiguous, that language is a little ambiguous in the charter, and in fact, our water rules do indicate that the select board does have the authority to
They are the commissioners.
extend those water
It
rights.
says if the town is asked to pay for it, it has to go before the voters. If the person is paying for themselves, it can be done without the
We-
voters.
right.
If we have to borrow money for it, it has to go to the voters, right?
Well, that's gonna be a big project. It didn't say borrow. It said if
I
it's
guess we'd
gonna
have to
be-
research it more.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, it's a moot point anyway.
Well, it'd actually be something good to know, because in the future, if he does choose to want to do the next step, it'd be nice to have the ducks in a row. So we are ready for any new businesses that may wanna come.
And am I to understand that the extension couldn't have come off of the lease to federal building?
I don't think it had big enough pipe or something, wasn't it?
I think,
A feed pipe, if I remember correctly.
I think there's a sewer, but not the water, is that correct?
and I believe one's on one side of the road and one's on the
The
other.
water had to go underneath the road, and there would be no estimate given until it was an engineered project because it involved a state road.
There was some discussion with him to have conversations with the owner of that facility, because I believe he could have connected into their, gone the long way around the building, down through the lower section, come up through, and with their permission tapped into their sewer, which is there, with a pump station, and the water's there. But that was something he would have had to negotiate, and that was suggested to him, and I don't know if that was pursued.
So I guess, to wrap up my point about this,
Yeah.
is that in the future, when such things get tabled, that aren't gonna happen, make a note in the minutes that it's done at where it is, so that people researching them, such as myself, would trip over that fact and say, oh, well, they closed that out, they ended that out, that ain't happening.
Okay. And I agree with you on, we do need to be more proactive and more timely on getting businesses to a point where they businesses are, people that own businesses are, I don't wanna say movers or shakers, but they're looking to make this happen, and we can't be the roadblock
Right.
of 3, 6, 9 months. We have to be able to answer their questions quickly and make a decision quickly. So we need to do better. Yes, I agree.
No, that's it, thank you.
Andre?
I don't have a lot. I want to get some feedback from the town. In terms of what the sheriff's office is doing now, we are short-staffed, as is other police departments in the state. But I checked this morning, and we do have a pool of new certified people who've been interviewed and through the process. So we're hoping to put a few of those on board right away, so we can get some more resources up here. I've been proactively working with the drug task force, and I think in the near future we'll see some good things happening. There is a lot of things happening in town. And is there anything that we need to specifically address that come to your attention?
Anything, anyone?
You guys are dealing with everything that's happened at the store.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't think of anything.
No one
Anything,
has
Michael,
anything?
no?
And I'm available 24 hours. Everybody has, I'm assuming everybody has my number.
I do have one thing.
Yeah.
Down behind Mark's, over here, there's that little side road, it's a driveway for the 2 apartment buildings, and then the overlook, and then Mort's business, and then the bank. Is there any way that you guys, or when whoever's on duty, can make a presence down there at least 1 or 2 times, and they just kind of drive down through and then come back up?
Where the Riverwalk is?
Yes, down below there. There's a lot of stuff going on down there. Summer, spring's coming, ATVs, the dirt
Yeah,
bikes.
I had that discussion with the boss this morning, but I says we're probably gonna get a lot of questions about the ATVs, the motorbikes, et cetera.
Yeah,
And I don't even know if that's the biggest issue, it's the squatting and campfires.
right, down behind the
And the old
bank block
Mason.
down here, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, does that still go on? They move things around so it's not so visible anymore, but there's still
But-
people gathering.
they're still out there.
But I think they also moved up behind the bank down there in that little corner last summer, right?
Yes,
They moved from the Masonic building up to the other side of behind where John parks his garbage trucks down there, and that river, behind the generator out down in there. So I
Yeah,
think
there's
that-
that shortcut there. And then I
yeah,
recovered the stolen air pump in the ruined castle down there, the ruins.
yes,
that have been
out in
closed,
Farley.
yeah. I know when I'm doing patrol, and right now I'm at the school, but I'll make sure every day I drive down. I come into town around 6 in the morning, so I'll make sure I go down there and
This is
I usually, when I'm doing patrol, I usually hit every single road in town,
Yes.
and I usually stop and talk to the people, so I get an idea of what's going on in the neighborhoods and stuff. It's real important.
Yeah,
And that's been paying off because we do get a lot of calls, and a lot of information on what's happening and what's going on.
the only reason I'm asking you is that Mort's noticed a lot of different stuff going on down below. So he asked if we wanna extend the rail trail down through there, then he would like to see more.
And plus the substation for the water is down there.
Yes, yep,
Yeah, that's where I usually turn around and come back.
perfect.
Is there anything the town can do to help you do your job?
The town's been real responsive, the citizens in town have been extremely helpful. The approach that, I'm a little different because I'm older than the younger guys,
Yeah.
is I get out of the car and I talk to people.
Yeah.
And it's paid enormous dividends. And we're trying to mentor that in the other places, et cetera. The mentoring process in law enforcement is real important, and because of the short staff, not only with our agency, but the other agencies, it's been difficult to do,
Yeah.
to have that mentoring process. I'm probably older than everybody in the room here. So, there's a lot that comes with that. But we're gonna continue to be proactive.
Excellent, thank you so much.
Thanks, Andre. Okay, Marina.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Marlena Valenta, I'm the Energy and Climate Planner for the Northwest Regional Planning Commission. I have a couple papers here. I just want to make you all aware about the MERP program, which is the Municipal Energy Resilience Program. So it's currently being rolled out. There's still information to come. But basically, there's 3 kind of stages to this. There's these mini $4,000 grants that are meant to build community capacity. So these can be used for mailings or events, things that let your residents know about incentives or about projects going on. And then there's assessments. So these are used for buildings, municipally owned buildings, and they'll do a walkthrough and tell you where improvement could be had, or where you're kind of losing money, where your efficiency can be improved. And then the third step is these implementation grants. So this is up to $500,000 to put into action what was found in the assessments. And Richford's in a great place to access this because you have a high energy burden. So that's the average amount of money that your residents spend out of their income on energy, transportation, electricity, and heating. So you rank pretty highly with your energy burden, which means you're at the top of the list to receive this money. So the first 2 pieces, the $4,000 mini grants and the energy assessments, are non-competitive. Every town has the chance for these, the access to both of these. The implementation grants, that money, will be, divvied out, and you guys are high on the list given your energy burden. So I'm the energy planner for the region. I'm here to help you through all of the applications and through any questions you have. This is still being rolled out, so there are still a lot of questions that we don't have the answers to yet, but it's all coming through. And the Vermont League of Cities and Towns is putting on a webinar April 18th that should have a lot more answers for us. I can send you that link. It's also on the Vermont League of Cities and Towns website, but I can make that available to you. So this is just a heads up. The timeline is pretty wide. We have, time to think about what building would be best utilized for this, and what project might benefit the most from this $4,000. There's really not a rush on that $4,000 grant. We have until the end of 2024. So the state's really urging towns to take their time and figure out what will be kind of the biggest bang for their buck with that mini grant. So yeah, this is just a heads up to kind of let you know this is happening, this is in the pipeline, and that I am here to can help you through this process. Does anyone have any kind of immediate questions about this?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So for the free energy assessment, we've done a couple with Efficiency Vermont.
Mhm.
Does that count, or would we have to do them again?
You would have to do them again. And the good news is these are more comprehensive. So Efficiency
Okay.
Vermont does a great job, and they do the kind of very preliminary walkthroughs. These are going to be more in depth and are going to cover more. And actually, so there's 2 levels of energy assessments. There's the kind of basic one that is great and will give you a lot of information and makes you eligible for the implementation money. If you are looking to get even more in-depth information, you can do the level 2. The only kind of caveat with that is that they need a lot more information, like past energy bills, information about the building, things like that. So it takes a little staff capacity to get all of that information together. But then you get this really in-depth kind of review and report on your building. So that's another thing to kind of weigh and make a decision about which one's worth it. And another little note, they haven't been super clear yet, but you might be able to get 2 buildings done. So,
I was just asking that question.
yeah. So that is something.
I can see your wheels turning.
Yeah.
Everybody's is.
Yeah.
And is there matching money required for these?
Nope. This is all the 500,000 is to make the improvements. The one thing is the building has to be ADA compliant, and the town has to be part of CUD, which you are, or have access to high-speed internet, and the CUD covers that, being part of one. So those are the kind of 2 things the town has to bring to it. Yeah.
And then, so do you have to go through like the community grant or the capacity grant first before you can do the implementation grant, or?
No, that is separate, and you don't have to access that $4,000 if it's not, if nothing comes up. There are a lot of really great things that could be used for that. I would be more than happy to, kind of sit down and look at what could be used for that. Even something as easy as getting a mailing out that lets people know what incentives are available for them, or at the high school doing like an energy fair, or a green jobs fair for the students to kind of look at what's available. All things like that. Anything that engages the community does qualify for that. Or if Richford has any interest in starting an energy committee, that $4,000 can be used to kind of start up an energy committee. So that part is totally separate and not required, but it is, a nice little chunk of money to do something good for the town. So the energy assessment is required for the implementation, but that's it.
So electrical, heating.
We got plenty.
Yeah.
We got plenty we can work off of that.
And do you know, like, what building is this the building that would kind of jump out as the building that needs?
I would start with this one.
Yeah.
It needs a heating system. It needs.
Yes.
We've done multiple with Efficiency Vermont in here,
Yeah,
and so that would be great.
Yeah.
and wiring.
Yeah. All the. Yeah.
Yeah, it needs a lot.
So just letting you know that this is kind of coming, and I will keep you informed with information as it comes out. And my email is listed there. Feel free to reach out, anyone, and I'm more than happy to answer questions or help. So yeah, thank you very much.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent news.
And if I may, while Marlena was here, I asked if I could piggyback and come too. If I could take you just a minute, I'm Catherine Dimitruk, I'm the director of the Regional Planning Commission, and I wanted to just number one, say that Rowena has been an amazing regional commissioner, and we're really sad to see her go. It's a super fun job. We only meet 9 or 10 times a year. Half of them are virtual, so at least half are virtual now. So there's not a lot of driving involved, and the meetings last about an hour and a half, and we just talk about a lot of issues of regional concern, including programs and projects like this. So be happy to talk with anybody who might be interested in doing that. I also wanted to let you know that with the Budget Adjustment Act that I think the governor signed today, or will be signing any minute, there is $3 million available statewide for municipal capacity building grants. These are grants that will be given to towns to prioritize their ability to access the ARPA infrastructure funds related to water and sewer, which you were just talking about, and I know you have some issues with your water line too, with some potential leaks, and so water and sewer is one area. There's other like housing and other infrastructure type areas of ARPA funds that these grants are going to target. The grants are going to be prioritized based on this statewide need index that ranks towns based on capacity and need. And remarkably, Richford does not top that list, but Richford is with a group of about 5 or 6 of our other towns in Franklin and Grand Isle County in the next group down. And so you're not the top priority to receive these funds, but our guess is that a lot of the towns in the top priority aren't gonna be interested in water and sewer projects and these big infrastructure type projects. And so once all of those towns are contacted and we know how much money is left, Richford could very well be eligible. I would say it's highly likely you'll be eligible for some capacity funds to do things like look at water and sewer and or other
So
infrastructure.
to access, so when you say the $3 million, is that like just for the research to get to the ARPA, or is it like matching money, a lot of money to be used for matching money?
It's not the matching money grant, although there's some money in the budget that if it passes to help towns with match. No, this is to get you to the point where you can even apply for the grant. So like say, we'll just use the example you were just talking about with the water and sewer crossing the road. Let's just say it was in the municipal interest to try to move a project like that forward. This could give you the funds to hire an engineer to do those plans, so that you could then apply for grants to get the funds to do it. So it's to help towns with the capacity to move projects forward, to get to the point where you can even apply for money.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
So we'll keep in touch on that one as soon as we know more.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, nice meeting you all.
Thanks.
Discussion of town agreements.
Okay. Don't know if you want to try to get through these tonight, but there's several properties that the town owns, that people in town utilize the properties. And I don't know that I'd characterize them as leases, but in the past, there were written agreements between the town and the people using the property, allowing them to use it. 4 of these have expired. They expired several years ago, and I didn't know if we wanted to do anything with these or just continue as we are. The first one involves Jim Clausen down on Troy Street, who uses a small piece of property, apparently he pushes snow on it. I got a copy.
And we do.
Yeah. But there was an agreement signed in 2019, and I can't find where it was ever done again. And it says it was subject to an annual review, and we don't collect any money for allowing him to put snow on this property. It's just a little tiny strip of land. It's like 21 by 85 piece of land. So there's no money involved now, but I didn't know, do we want to renew this agreement or just kind of let things continue as they are? I'm assuming he's still pushing the snow onto that property.
is this one of those instances where we discussed sideline agreements, you know, and, you know, giving, you know, seeing if they wanna buy the property, I mean, is it,
I think that would be great if they were interested in buying it.
or just, I mean, I don't think that would, when you said sideline, just getting them to pay the taxes, right? Or is this a big enough property where we'd want to try to sell it?
Well, if we, just look at the municipal taxes, the listers have it assessed right now, I don't know if it's gonna change, but it's 7,000. So it'd be roughly $100 a year for municipal tax.
$100.
But I don't know, they may, you know, in lieu of paying $100 a year to push snow on it, maybe he would be interested in buying the property. I don't know.
Yeah, for something like that, does it have to go out for bid?
That would not be a sideline adjustment, because it's across the street.
Across the street.
So you'd go through the regular process of advertising and.
That was property got in a tax sale too.
A long time ago?
I can't imagine he would wanna buy it, but maybe the people that own the building would.
Next door, the green, cause I don't think they have a driveway, right, currently,
I don't think so.
so it might be enticing.
Yeah.
So again, I guess we come back to liquidating some properties, figuring out how to go about that. Selling it would put it back on the tax roll.
And you increase, yeah.
So that doesn't really answer your question, does it, Alan? I think we really need to sit down and figure out what we wanna do with these, properties and move it to the next step.
I think we're all in the same boat, going in and putting them up for sale, or out for bid for sale.
Yeah,
I agree with that, because we're just hanging on to property that, you know, we're pushing snow up on.
Well, and they said that too, you know, just at the board meeting the other night, I know you weren't there, but, you know, some comments have been, you know, said, what are we doing with all these properties?
Right.
You know.
So how many, I mean, Eric, you mentioned sideline agreements. How many properties did you envision that falling within that?
Sideline agreement?
Yeah, like how many, when you were talking that there was a number of properties, what were, like, how many pieces of property?
I'm thinking 8 or less.
8 or less?
It's like where property comes up against your, river parkland, or out by the village garage, the fire station. The fire station has a long strip that goes right down all the way to the back of the Baptist church, but its elevation is above the fire station, so it's whether or not it's sided into the property owners, either side down the middle, or if anyone wanted to buy, so that would be one we'd advertise, but, depending on how you address it.
Well, you'd have to sideline that, well, I mean, you'd have to because it must border several properties if it goes back that far, right?
Probably 3 or 4.
Yeah,
easily,
3 on Powell and 4 on.
So that mean, so you'd have to open that up because it'd show favoritism if you selected one and offer it, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's what, so that one would,
You know, whereas the fire station side, I was talking about mine, and that's, I already have the easement.
Yeah.
I'd like to flip it, where you'd have the easement. And in the 15 years we've been there, only once did the town have to get in there, and that was to replace that cracked window on the second window end.
Okay.
so how do we go about tackling?
There aren't very many.
So how do we go about tackling this? And like, I know we kind of talked about it for a year now. Like, how do we move this discussion forward?
I think if we're talking not the lease property now, but selling little pieces of land that
Or-
we're not using, I think we just identify which properties we're interested in selling that Jason doesn't need for plowing or whatever, and then I think we need to do some research, find out how we acquired the property, and then go from there. If it was acquired, you know, through tax sale or however we acquired it, find out, you know, from our attorney what we need to do in terms of selling it, and go from there.
Is this a project we want to tackle wholesale, or do we want to just like identify 4 or 5 and get it, you know, do it in a staged approach? Do like 4 or 5 a year?
Yeah.
You had what? You said you have 5 or 6 here?
Yeah,
But these are lease agreements, right?
these are lease
Oh,
agreements,
lease agreements, okay.
yeah,
But they're all expired,
yeah.
so.
So,
Yeah, some of
So-
these we won't be selling, like the sewer plant.
Right.
no,
Wally, on that part on Troy Street by corner of Willow Street and Troy Street, I think it is. So if that went out to bids, anybody could buy it.
Yeah.
So then what could it be used for? Could somebody put a tiny home there? Could somebody put a trailer there?
There was
Or
a
a
house,
camper?
there was a house there.
No, it was a big brick building. It was Gibney's,
It was before well, I kinda remember as a kid, but remember something being there as to what, I don't.
do you remember Gibney's Oil? Used to be
I
Mark's
remember that,
Oil.
yes.
I think it was like their office building there or
Okay.
something at one time.
Just a little-
So I remember when they tore it down, it was a big cement building.
so maybe, I mean, before we sold it, we'd have to, that'd be part of the discussion, like what it could be,
Right,
what it could be used for.
Right, what it,
And
I mean, is it a
Right.
commercial
Yeah.
lot?
Because you couldn't just
It's a
offer it to
business
one
there,
neighbor and not
maybe?
offer it to everybody.
No, we're
Because it's-
talking like, we would
Right.
open it up, and what Alan was
Put it in
saying,
the newspaper,
in,
the whole nine
in,
yards.
you know, in theory, it's gonna be enticing to the person, to the adjacent owner that
Right.
has no driveway, in theory. But no, we'd have to open, that property we'd have to open up, but maybe, I mean, I'm new to this, maybe we could stipulate, you know, what can happen there.
Right,
Cause you know, like you said, I mean, I wouldn't want to see somebody park a trailer there.
But we'd have to go through zoning kinda to find out what we could do with it.
exactly. 'cause
Yeah.
all
But it's a
the-
grandfathered small lot.
No, once
No,
something's
once
been
it sells.
removed,
No,
no,
Grandfather dies.
it
yeah,
does.
when the building goes down.
So basically, we gotta go back to zoning and see what we can
Yeah.
do.
But
So maybe if we're gonna look at selling it, maybe we don't want
To renew it.
redo the lease with him.
So,
Well, that's what I'm thinking, not to do redo the lease.
well, here's my thought. Since we already have leases on several of these, and we're gonna do this in an implementation phase, why don't we renew the leases and work on a handful of the other ones for the first year?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, cause it'll be,
Are all the
by
leases
the time we
just
get
one
around to
lease?
it,
Yeah, well, this one was a 5-year lease, but it was done in 2014, but the others are annual. Yeah.
which ones is it, 5 year?
That was the sewer plant.
Okay.
That's
We're gonna keep
next
that.
on my
Yeah.
list, so. Do we want to send him a letter to have him sign renewing it? Do we wanna collect any money for this, or, if this one indicates there's no fee.
The,
Snow pushing.
I guess, I mean, knowing that we use it as much as he does, at this point, I would say I would be comfortable.
I'd say we probably use it more than he does at this point.
I know they push snow there and then they bucket it up, and take it away when the pile gets big. So I think I would be comfortable with this one, keeping it as is,
So we wanna ask Michael to,
probably for Clausen.
Yeah, there's two rights of
draw.
way there, both houses.
And we
own
don't
the
lease?
just basically
Update it.
change the date.
have access across that property
And send it to him, to have
To
him redo it.
like work on the property.
to drive in.
Oh,
It's a
then there's
right
just,
of way.
there's just no driveway there.
A lot of it was for an access to the back of that apartment building, right?
One went to Mrs. Heels, and the other one went to, the other building was, Love River here.
Okay,
Right.
They have a
so they
right of way.
came right away to go out back.
Yeah, drivable right away, it's
Okay.
probably 12, 13 feet wide.
Okay.
So that eliminates what you could use that for anyway.
Yeah,
Yep,
Yeah,
so that really shrinks it down.
It shrinks it down some.
So it's no longer, what'd you say, 81 by,
21 by 85.
yeah, so that really shrinks it down even more. Okay,
No, you need the research on to
Yeah,
what
yeah.
that lot.
so I would say for now, let's go ahead and just ask him to renew this. What are the other ones?
Okay, the next one, was a 5-year lease, that was done in
So a small lot
2014
loses its grandfather clause
with
after.
LF Herdebees and Sons. They
Unless it's an easement.
utilize 14 acres of land of
So
the
if somebody
sewer
owns a
plant.
small lot.
It's the land the town
Like I
owns
own a
right
small
on the
lot,
river,
because for now-
Okay,
for
So I
cutting
lose
hay.
my
And
smallest,
it was a 5-year lease, but it was done in 2014,
Well, I bought
so I'm
it
thinking
being a small lot.
it's expired.
And they
We
do
do
use
collect
it.
$1,700 a year from this, and in talking to Kylie, we've been receiving the money.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we've been getting the money, but the lease expired 4 years ago. And I didn't know, do we want to continue, just renew this or
You're okay.
put it out for bid again? I think that's what they did last time. were interested in leasing this land, and they put it out for bids, and Herdebees and Sons, got the lease.
I'm assuming then we have to do that again, right?
Yeah,
So I mean, that we couldn't just automatically renew, correct?
I think we could. You know, they've been paying, and I know from my personal experience, Herdebees and Sons cuts the hay on my land on Berry Road, and they do a terrific job, very conscientious. They don't go on the field with the big equipment unless it's dry, they don't tear it up. And from what I've seen, they do a good job on the sewer plant one, and they've been paying.
Without asking,
Yeah.
so. I don't have a problem with keeping the lease going with them, just,
We have to renew it.
Well, I guess, can we do the same thing, Mike?
So just update it.
Yeah, just basically change the date and send it to them to sign
okay.
Yeah,
For another 5 years.
for another 5
At the
years.
same rate, we're comfortable with the same rate?
What's the rate on that land? What's the tax assessment?
I don't know the taxes, we own it, so we don't.
If you own
pay
it, you don't
tax.
pay taxes.
So
Right.
we're comfortable with this.
But if we didn't own it, how much would
Yeah,
we get in
that's
the
What
profit?
size is the acreage?
14.
14 acres.
I mean,
An acre's now worth $40,000.
no. So yeah, I would say,
Yeah.
let's go with
Leave
it.
it so,
So,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The next one we've got is. You should reading when you make these copies.
What I just copied them, whatever was on them, I couldn't tell you.
Richard. This one is, only got a couple copies here, but is, Rick and Anita Mason on Willow Street. This one looks like it expired in 2015. They lease a little piece of land on their property, but this one's got some stipulations on it about a fence and a shed. We collect $10 a year for it, and from, again, what I understand from Kyle, we've been getting our $10. But in the past, I've also, and again, this isn't my saying this, but I have heard that it does create some issues for Jason to plow that street, because of the buildings and the fence, and, so I don't know, that was a while ago that
No, I think it's still an issue.
yep, I just, I mean, I could report on it. I just met with Jason and talking about how we want to plow that. I think the problem was it was all being pushed one way on that street. Given that to plow it the other way, you're gonna plow the house, because the houses sit right on the street, you're gonna be plowing right up against the houses. So it was, the concern from Rick, Mr. Mason and his wife was that, they shouldn't get all the snow on their side. So we talked about it, and we said, to be equitable, you plow down, you plow back like you do any other street from now on. And that was probably 3-4 weeks ago. I have not heard anything negative since then. So we'll see how that goes. But by the same token, while we were down there, I think we as a board need to figure out where our property lines are. And I feel like there's some encroachment at that end of the street by potentially landowners on both sides creeping out. And I think we also should research what constitutes a junkyard. So, Michael,
This lease clearly states that they're allowed to have a fence and one shed on the town's part.
yes, so I that's fine, but I think I'd like to, And if that's the case, we have to decide as a board whether we want to renew that or not. But I think we also need to know where our property lines are in relation to that, to see if there has been encroachment. And like I said, I'm pretty sure on the other side of the street, there has been encroachment and spillover. And if we are considering moving forward with the rail trail, or attempting to move forward with the rail trail, we're gonna need to be concerned with aesthetics through there and the appearances. So I wouldn't entertain, renewing this any more than a year at a time. If we do so, renewing it. I don't know, Michael, do you and I wanna try to meet down there, figure out where what's the best way to figure out our property lines there, Alan, do you?
There's an old shed down there that looks like it's probably 100 years old. The property line's smack dab in the middle of it.
Okay, and what about the other side of the street?
The other side of the street would have to look, so I'm not sure who owns what used to be a lawn at the end of that last house.
Is that the one that's got the fire hydrant right on the end of it?
Yes,
Yeah.
but the fire hydrant's in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I know where, yeah,
yeah.
And there's like all sorts of lawn equipment.
around the fire hydrant, I went down and complained about it.
So, can we tell this from town maps and
Yes.
we can go there and try to figure it out?
Well, we can't get it down to the foot, because even our townwide mapping system is offset somewhat from where
Okay.
it should be.
So how do we get accurate then?
Surveyor.
Surveyor, we would have to survey, but we can get close. We
And
can
that's
say,
not-
yeah, the lot belongs to town, or no, it doesn't, we can get that close. But,
Okay.
as far as establishing where Willow Street ends and Willow Street Extension begins, because it's been rounded for so long,
Yeah.
but we get close.
So what? I guess, I don't know how you guys wanna proceed with this. We can,
Pick the ones you wanna pick on, and
I
the
don't know.
lister's office will pick how to best get you some research on mapping.
Just,
Let's table this one.
yeah, wait till you get
Yeah,
out.
and we'll try to do it in the next month or so. Schedule a time. I'll keep this one. And, both sides of Willow Street.
And my last one here is, this one's kind of a strange one, because we are collecting taxes on this property. This is the property on Home Street, where there is a building, from what I understand, on town property. And we are collecting the taxes on it. The only reason I'm bringing this up is the agreement does say that this agreement is subject to an annual review, and it was last done in 2013. So I don't know, do we wanna do anything with this one, because we are collecting the taxes on it, and,
I'd say-
or maybe just do a new agreement that says
That's what I would do.
indefinitely or something,
Yeah,
so we
do
don't
it.
have to deal with it every
As long
year.
as taxes are paid
Yeah,
with a stipulation.
Okay.
And-
that sounds fair to me.
Yeah,
And any of those that you choose to continue, it is best to do it through the tax system so that they're paying on the acreage they're using.
Yeah, in this case, I think it's because there was actually a building on it.
Well, yeah, there's her garage, and then there's an attachment to her garage that sits on town property, because her line runs right with the side of her garage. She didn't know that when she built the shed, so we figured out how to best use NEMRIC to actually charge her for the property that's under the shed. Because when you take property out of public use, you need a way to deal with the,
But this one, I know we are collecting the taxes on it.
So how much taxes would you collect on something like that?
I don't even remember what they are.
So what's the difference between collecting a little bit of rent or collecting taxes?
right now it's hard to say, Carl, because we are at the end of our reassessment.
Right.
So what we used to collect is probably gonna go up a little. I'm not gonna say it's gonna double or anything.
Right,
because
But if you're only collecting $10 taxes and you only get $10 a year, so it's the same either way.
it is, it's just that we should do them all the same way.
Yeah.
Whatever you choose.
I guess, so do we wanna just let this one go, or how do we want to
Have
handle
to
it?
renew it and just ask, so as long as the taxes are being paid. And the reassessment for the taxes is coming up, so it's been
And I
down.
think that house sold last year as well.
Well, then we do probably need to redo it,
Mhm.
because it says the property, this agreement is not transferable if sold. So I would send a new letter to the new owners.
Well, I think they still live there. I think it's still the same owners.
You're saying it's sold?
I think it sold.
Must have been recently, because when I was here, it was still them, the same
It sold
owners.
in the last year,
Okay.
process transfer for it.
So I guess do a little research and offer it to the new people at the same rate. Just put a stipulation in here, it's good as long as the assessed taxes are paid. Is that
Maybe
fair?
the number that goes with the street, just the number, I don't know. Is it 19?
23.
23, alright, I'll look it up.
Do we need motions on all this now?
Oh, shoot.
Or can we do it in a collection?
Right, like
Just
to
say,
renew.
take action of as agreed upon, the,
For the lease agreements that we have for town property,
Yeah, that sounds okay to me.
Works for me.
I'll make a motion for it.
is that it, Alan?
That's
And
all.
then, maybe for next meeting, could you identify 4 or 5 properties that we can, tackle for this year? Transferring from
I have no idea what they're doing there.
public to private?
They're putting down the current.
Oh, that's
Oh,
what that
that's
is.
what that has.
Oh,
Wow.
I can figure out what that noise
That's
is. So there's a motion to go along with the agreements
Yes,
And as discussed.
as discussed.
So to renew
The lease
agreements as
agreements.
discussed.
yes.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Okay. So, looking for approval of February 20th, 23 meeting minutes and 3/6/23 meeting minutes.
Did you update the 3/6? No, these are different ones, not you.
Yeah, I didn't put that one on there yet.
Okay, I saw one.
The second,
I'll second it.
all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Update from the town administrator.
Actually, before we go any further from the properties, I had somebody come in the store and talk to me about the one on the corner of Far and Center.
Yeah.
They're very interested in person. I said, well, if we decide we're selling it, it has to go on paper, it has to go out for bid. And they understood all that. Wanted to know when that might possibly be happening.
Well, let's make that one.
Make that part of it. So go back into that,
Yeah,
amend
I'll
the
amend it to bring in
50 Far Street.
50 Fire Street
So-
for next meeting.
Can you amend a motion or should we just make it?
No, I don't think we have to.
I don't think we need to,
No,
because
'cause
this
we're
is,
just,
we one of the 5.
the one of the 5 that we wanna move.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, we
Um,
have a meeting.
Yep.
That's definitely one I would wanna put stipulations on.
Yeah.
If we can,
Huh?
having acquired it through tax sale, I think there might be some I don't know.
I'm just saying,
We'll
like,
have to find out.
We've got costs associated.
I don't want
with
it to
that.
be,
We have
purchased.
costs associated with that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, I don't want somebody to purchase it and, have it remain in the same condition. Like, there's gotta be some sort of,
Clean it up.
like, and if we have to do that before we sell it, maybe we do a little, I don't know, like, tear down the garage, do something. I don't know what we wanna do, but before, I'd wanna not have it, we just did this whole process to get it to us with the thought of improving it. I wouldn't want us just to turn around immediately and sell it and have it be in the same condition.
Right.
So I
But
don't
you
know.
really couldn't control that.
Well, we could, if we cleaned it up and then just charged.
Cause we,
But if you sell it to somebody, then they sell it to somebody again, that's gonna,
Right.
right, but
if
we can bring
tear
it
it down,
up,
it may not meet any setbacks.
yeah, if we bring it up to a certain code, at least when we're moving it, I don't know, that'd be something to discuss. And I don't know how much we wanna invest, but I mean, I would definitely like to see what there is for us to do to, you know, bring it up, you know, bring it up to a little better appearance and not.
if you can figure something out, you should buy every house in town and put the same stipulation on it. Seriously.
Oh, maybe it's a pipe dream,
Oh,
but
is
like,
it
I'd like to at
PV
least look
action?
into it.
Oh.
Well, so how would somebody go about figuring out how much money the town has in that building? Or a tax property that they bought?
Whatever they owed on taxes
I'd
and
have to
water.
research
I would say it'd be lawyer fees involved in
And
the
lawyer
cleanup.
fees.
So
Yeah.
all your lawyer fees are all itemized
Yes.
when you look back? Like I can come in and talk to Kylie and she can show me or tell me where to find 50 Fire Street is this amount of lawyer fees or every
It should be,
lot?
cause we've done it for the properties outside of town that we've been going after. We know how much they cost, so
Is it
she
itemized
has.
like a?
It is, but, I mean, you can find, I think, on the individual invoices from the attorney that were associated with that property, it's just gonna take somebody to
Time,
physically
yeah.
pull the
Right.
individual invoices and add them up, yeah.
So to determine the value of some property, it's gonna take some time to look how much the town was owed for taxes, how much it cost for lawyer fees to get it back, to evict the people, to clean it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna take some digging,
That'd be some research.
yeah.
So, and if you go to a property like the corner of Willow Street and Troy Street, that's even gonna be more digging because that was back 40, 50 years ago.
I think
Deed
it's,
research, no problem.
huh?
Deed research, no problem. It's all
Good.
involved.
yeah, as
It's all
far as
involved,
lawyer
it's all
fees or
together.
anything like that tied
So the
back in,
lawyer fees, Derek, would be in there?
I don't
They
think,
won't be in the land
No,
records,
anything that's
no.
recorded, but I mean, as far as the history,
Right.
at some point, being that it's that old, I don't know that you could actually
You
go
would
back
have
that far.
But we don't know, like Troy Street, how we acquired that, it might
Right.
not have been in tax sale, there might not be.
I'm 99% sure it was tax sale.
It was.
I'm not 100% sure, but I was always told it was the Gibney's tax sale.
But maybe,
I think the lawyer will help us figure some of that out when we go and talk to them about the actual.
Right.
but Carl had brought up a good point, maybe we do need to assess how, you know, before we get too far into the future, you know, put a dollar figure on that, so we know going forward, so it's captured. Cause I mean, as those lawyer bills get further and further, you know, out, maybe we should try to do that.
Yeah, hook them to the
If we
property.
can even consider them, and again, I don't know,
Yeah.
because I don't know what
Yeah.
the law is regarding
Yeah.
what we can sell a property for that we acquired in tax sale. If we can even sell it, I don't know if we can even sell it in the first year.
Yeah, I will have to see.
But if we can, then I think we need to find out
What's
what, you know, can we
recoupable?
only charge what we paid for it?
How
Can
do
we
you-
add in, you know, the fees to evict the people and all that other stuff?
How do we do the big blue one up on the hill?
What's that?
The big blue house up on the hill that we acquired through tax sale?
21 Elm Ave.
Yeah,
Mhm.
how did we, what did we do with that one? Was it sold, was it 11,000 or something like that? It sold for,
It was, yeah, I think I don't quote me, my memory isn't very good, but I think we sold that for what we paid for it, I think.
for what we took it in for
Taxes,
tax sale,
water,
right?
sewer.
And the
Big
water and
cleanup,
sewer, did we have lawyer fees or anything like that, or did
What are
we
you
just
saying
serve
here?
papers and people just moved out?
Sold for taxes,
just moved
water,
out
sewer,
when we bought
and
it.
cleanup.
Yeah.
Sold.
So we didn't have the lawyers or anything
Not
all
that I-
tied
That's
up
what
and
we
all
had
that?
Not that I recall, no.
So Eric, can you recover all the taxes for every year that you had it? Say if you had a property for 10 years, you lost 10 years of taxes?
No, just what we
No,
got.
just,
Just what you got it for on
just
the
the
tax sale?
acquisition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause the town's not paying taxes or collecting taxes on that.
Yeah, that
Lost
makes
it, we just didn't pay.
sense. Okay.
Okay.
Who owns that house now? Same person?
No,
Which one's that?
Woods,
On,
Elm, yeah.
yeah,
Did they move out or
Curtis
something?
Wood, I think, bought that property.
Curtis
Curtis
Wood?
did?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, nice, okay. And Brenda?
Yep.
Yeah. Did not know that.
Alright. Update for the town administrator.
Well, I guess first thing, because I stole this from Andy, I do need to be reappointed as the representative for the Northwest Communications Union District. That's they're working on bringing like fiber optics
Okay.
and high-speed internet to more rural places. So that's for
I'll make a
Franklin
motion
and
to
Grand Isle.
reappoint you.
Yeah.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded it? Was Wally?
Yeah.
Alright, well, the next one was, I was talking to Sean Coleman from NRPC, because it's the time of year where we have to update our local emergency management plans. Last year we did it pretty late.
Yep.
Which kinda helps us now, because we did all the updating, and I think we did that back in October or November.
Yep.
So I asked Sean, he says he didn't believe there was anything, and Catherine, I think, is her name, said she did not believe anything had to be changed in it, so I think we just have to motion to, just to
Resubmit it.
adopt it
Yep.
and resubmit it, and then, I mean, you can look at it, there's 5 copies here, if you don't wanna.
This is when we had to update a lot of contact information
Yes.
last year.
Exactly. Well, there's only 3 here, that's that one. I'm pretty sure the main contact is
Do you want to see
Andy,
one?
I mean, you should be waiting,
Yeah.
Right.
because I think you're the main contact.
Yeah,
on
you're the
it.
main
Yes.
contact on a lot of
I'm on there, and I think Kylie's on there, I think we're the 3.
I would remove Tim Green.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We just did Terry Leonard, right? We renewed that.
Yep.
So will be some update, I guess, but we probably make the motion to adopt it with the updates, would that be okay?
Yes.
Good with that. It's Tim Green, the only one that's coming in.
It's the only one I've seen so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make that motion, that we accept pending, the Tim Green update.
So I'll just say updating contact with, or updating?
Yeah. Yeah, you might wanna just, any, like business updating, feel free to do. I don't know, is Lauren Bell still the country club? You know what I mean?
Right.
Cause I think they
Yeah.
just did some changes.
So just adopt with updating contact
For,
information.
for businesses, yeah.
Okay. You seconded it, Sherry?
Sure.
Also update the town sheriff, to reflect the new
Yeah.
guy. Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
So the next one, I did send an email about the rail trail extension, so while Sherry and I are still working on it, but now we have to find a new
Yeah.
firm for the engineering plans.
Yeah.
But Andy DeForge told me, he's our state project manager for it, and he said that is more in his court, he can help with that,
Oh, good.
so we don't have to go through that.
Are we gonna have to start all over?
No, they're just
No.
gonna take it and run with
They
it.
just gotta take what, yeah. So,
Because we paid a lot of money to that other firm.
right, they were absorbed by Trudell,
Mhm.
and I called them up and asked them, because technically they would be the ones responsible for it. And they said they could not take that on, and the contract expired, I think, so it's,
So the work that's already been done, this new firm will accept, we're not gonna have to.
that's what we
pay
have to put in, that's what Andy and I would have to work, Andy DeForge and I would
No,
have
I'm
to
sure
work
there'll be
Yeah.
some additional monies that tied to it, unfortunately.
So we have
We
to
gotta
figure
get this taken care of, this is gonna get done.
Should have been done, whatever, we
Well,
should
and
have been
the
more
reason-
forceful years ago.
Yeah.
And the reason why we have to do it though is because I think there's 2 on there that would like changes before they would
Yeah.
consider
Yeah.
signing.
And we did talk, there's, one, we won't get into specifics, but there's one property that we might, because it's such a small chunk, they said we can, engineer them out.
Yeah.
So that's one lease we won't have to get. Then, there's a couple other properties that we need to just go ahead and, get going. I don't know, if one day we're just gonna have to drive to Newport and sit down and meet with Fred.
Probably.
We'll just drive one day and do it. And we'll meet with the wood place, but like you said, we're gonna wait on that until we have some better information.
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to dig into
Get out
that
of the
more.
water too left before we really.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, I mean, that's my update there. We continuing to help highway, I did finish up their MSDS sheets. That took a long time.
They do.
And then now I'm doing like a little glossary pages for him, so because he had multiple binders because there were so many pages. To label which ones are in each binder, so you can just reference it, like, look on the cover, see which ones, so I'm helping them out with that now. And then I'm working on that highway paving grant. I think next meeting I'll have paperwork for all you to sign, to look over for it. That's pretty standard, it's like the one last year, it's the same as last year where it was like that we meet like bridge and road standard, like certain standards,
Yeah.
and that we've adopted stuff. So it should be pretty simple, but next meeting I'll be able to get that. And then I've been trying to contact the because we talked about a lot of this grant money that's been out there. I know Wayne LaRoche talked about it at town meeting. Been trying to dig in to figure out where, I forgot the website he said it was on. So I've been trying to dig in, kind of research where that is, and kind of work from there and see what is out there. Because even just today, Eric brought to me that there was another round from Governor Scott's office that they announced. There was like 30 or 31 projects that they just, they funded, so.
Well, you can always reach out to LaRoche.
I did,
Or his
yeah,
office.
yeah.
Okay.
So, that's my update.
Highway report.
We did hold a special warrant meeting last week and decided on a town truck. The reason we held a special meeting was because, we got, 5, maybe 6 quotes, but, the dealerships are not willing to hold vehicles because trucks move so quickly. So we decided to meet and act. And we discussed what the town needed going forward and went with the lowest bid that met what we were looking for. So we were buying a 2500 Silverado crew cab from Champlain Chevrolet. The bids are, if anybody wants to look at the various quotes, they'll be in Kylie's office in a folder at anybody's request. And beyond that, we a while ago talked about having a co-op student from Cold Hollow. We had one lined up around Christmas time. That individual decided to go, I guess, a different route, a different career route, and decided not to come to the town. However, another student has expressed a desire to work with the town for a little bit. So we're taking that student on and giving, and this student is in getting his CDL and, it's give him some experience with the town and, potentially give us an avenue to a future employee if the person should work out. So helping the school and potentially giving us a pipeline for future hires. Again, Jason and I didn't make the last meeting because of the playoff game I was at, right before town meeting. But before that, a couple days before that, Jason and I did meet and to discuss Willow Street plowing and how it could be done differently. Hopefully that's resolved. But beyond that, nothing to report at this time. I guess we handled one of the biggest storm of the year, went well, according to Jason. So, not usually this late in March, but it went well.
And Kylie's waiting for the lease agreement from,
My understanding is, yeah, she's got what she needs from Brian and the bill of sale and stuff, and I think she was last I knew she was working on finalizing the financing for the lease agreement.
was it Kansas?
I'm not sure, I didn't,
Okay.
I don't have.
She
the
talked to you
paperwork.
about it today?
Yeah, briefly, and I'm trying to remember, because it's the one that we normally go with, and basically the board's gonna have to make a motion to go along with that, and I'm trying to remember what it was called at this point, but
But she didn't give you anything?
I don't have any paperwork.
It's Kansas something.
Yeah,
I
and,
don't remember.
I mean, if we make a motion, it's just, it's a lease,
It's a 3.
organization that we've used many times, and if we're willing to go along with that same company as we have been in the past, she's looking for basically our approval to do so.
I'd make a motion to go along with the company we've been using for years. For lease agreement, Kansas,
It's Kansas something, and I don't remember the whole title.
and it's a 3-year lease agreement, right? If I remember correctly, is usually what we do.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
I think
Okay.
it's a 3, but Kylie's
We pay
projecting.
the first payment this year,
And
and then 2 more and
Yeah.
stuff.
But should be a municipal lease, one where
Yes.
we own the
Yeah.
truck at the end.
Yes.
And we own
Yes,
the truck
that's-
at the end,
Yeah,
yes.
as we've been doing for others.
As we've been doing all along.
So there's a motion on the floor to go along with this Kansas company that we have been going along with for a 3-year lease agreement, from what I recall.
Do you just wanna say lease company or?
Lease company for now.
And hopefully, we can get to the point where we're cycling the vehicles a little more reliably. Because I don't know how I wanna put it, but like if we got a new truck every 5 years, you know, they would, you know, you'd be doing it I don't know, or set up a cycle so we're not having 3 vehicles or 2, you know, potentially 3 vehicles at the almost the end of their life, their useful life. So, cause I mean, the other one that's still usable is gonna need some significant body work this year to pass inspection. So we gotta get in a cycle where once they get to 6 or 7 years old, you know, maybe we're replacing them instead of letting them get closer to 10
That way
years.
They still have a little value. to
Well,
it.
not even the value, just so we're not like in the middle of the year, like, oh no, this one's not gonna pass inspection.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in the budget. So I think we just gotta figure out a way to set ourselves up in a better schedule. And I did forget, on that note, the 2 that wouldn't pass inspection, we also discussed putting those out to bid as parts vehicles, since they won't pass inspection. So Michael has the information from Jason, the vehicle specifics, and we will, it was decided to put them in the local paper and post it on the Facebook page for the town.
What's the local paper?
I think we discussed County Courier and Messenger. And I know we talked today, maybe trying to do it for next meeting, but I think we'd be better off to let it go a month. What does the board feel? You know, put it in the paper a couple weeks and get,
Yeah.
because I think it'd be a tight turnaround to get, you know, a reasonable amount of, or bids for 2 weeks from now. How does the board feel about that? Giving it a month instead of 2 weeks?
I'll take a month.
I would do a month.
But we do have a motion on the floor, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
To go with the lease
Oh.
company.
Yeah, sorry.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Motion passed.
And did you wanna make a motion for those trucks to go in the newspaper?
I think that was already decided at the last meeting, right? You can do it now if you want.
But did we make a motion on it? about parts trucks.
Selling the trucks.
I think it
Selling
was-
two
I think
trucks
it
for
was-
parts trucks.
It was agreed to sell them.
It was
There
agreed to
a-
sell.
Well, I think there was a motion to sell them, but there was no like where specifics like put in
Well,
the
we can make
newspaper
that
or,
motion.
I don't know if that's
Um,
what you're asking me.
We'll
Like,
do a write-up on the vehicles. I think there's a 2006 and a 2010 truck, you know, with descriptions to
mhm.
be sold as parts vehicles, you know, and will be posted through Messenger, Courier, and our town Facebook page. Or listed, not sold. Solicited for bids, concealed bids. There's
Are we gonna sell them with plows on them?
only one has a plow, and it, you know, it's the same age as the vehicle. So I think Jason said let that go too.
This new one comes with all that.
Well, I'm just thinking that should add some value for
Well-
selling it with a plow on it. I don't know.
Well, it'd be more, it should be enticing for, you know, a property owner that has a sizable driveway and, you know, doesn't actually have a need to run it on the road.
Just up and down the driveway.
You know, they could get a few years. I think the one that wouldn't pass inspection needed some frames welding, but you have to have, from my conversation with Jason, it has to be done by a certified person, and the cost was just prohibitive. But I mean, if you were gonna potentially, you know, just keep it in your driveway, you could have somebody local weld the frame and get you even longer out of that vehicle potentially.
Okay,
Okay.
all set?
Yes.
Does he need a second?
You did, it was Alan who seconded. For the lease, or are you talking about
The
for the advertising?
Yeah.
advertising.
Oh, was there a motion? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So,
As I
for
said.
that then?
Second,
Yep.
yeah.
So you shared motion for that?
Wally made a motion.
Okay.
Based on my description.
And I second, yes, based on his description.
All those in favor?
Aye. Sorry.
That's fine.
Building, Sherry.
Buildings, not a lot going on with this one right now, except for, I have somebody that's gonna be doing a bunch of community service and, gonna paint for free, so.
Okay.
It's gonna be awesome, we're gonna repaint the inside here with people coming in, I'm hoping to do people's offices. I've left it up to everybody to pick their colors nicely, pick their colors for their rooms, and then just something neutral for the middle hallway. It needs it, hasn't been painted, I don't even know how many years, so I think sent to Angie.
2006.
So, we're gonna get it a little bit of freshen up, at least, get some work done in here. I just have to buy the paint, which is fine, it'll fit in the budget. Also sealing the top of the brick wall in their office. I have somebody to be working on that. And the elevator shaft, that's never been painted, it looks horrible in there. So we're gonna try to get that taken care of and neatened up a little bit.
Okay.
As far as the post office, they're doing a really good job in that bank, it looks amazing, they're bringing back the antique, they found a lot of antique boards downstairs, they utilized, they matched as much as they could with new boards when they had to get them, and it looks really good, doesn't it, Michael?
And then-
Yep, so pretty excited. Their opening date is still May 1st.
Yeah, we're hoping they haven't made any official.
Yeah, nothing official,
Decision.
but that's what we're hoping for. Besides that, parking lot, talk
We met with the
Jason.
library.
Oh, we met with the library, there's some grants out there for them that they wanna pursue, they'll need us to back them when it's ready.
Do you mind, what are the grants for, or will they be for?
Well, we finally told her she needs an engineer first, an
Yeah,
architect,
it was more of
something.
this first part, what she gave us was like an assessment to kind of see what is needed and like if they were in the middle of a project, kind of to gauge what was going on with the building.
Yeah, they have a lot of needs.
They have a lot of ideas,
Mhm.
and so I think that would be their first step is to get someone. So hopefully maybe this grant
Yes.
funds that. We that's where
For
we're
the
like,
assessment?
yeah, we're like we don't know if you can do an assessment with this money or not, but
So
they
they're
can send
looking
in
into
that. They can send in that assessment and they can kind of go from there. That
Is there matching funds?
Not at this point that we know of.
we
They
got-
just brought it to our attention and then we went through it and sat down with them and,
So that question needs to be asked.
yes,
But this is
And
just
if
like
there
a
is-
letter of interest kind of like
Yes.
see, so it's not at that point yet,
exactly.
and we don't even know if they could or not fund something like that.
Right,
So, yeah.
we don't even know if its ability is to extend and stuff, so we have to find out from zoning, and there's a lot
There's a
of
lot going
other
on.
hiccups, but
Okay.
we did meet. They expressed a lot of concerns, they expressed a lot of desires, I guess, what they like over there, so.
Can I ask a question real quick? Was brought to my attention today by the two guys on the ambulance, and that picnic table that we've had there for a few years is pretty ripe. Is it in the budget to put a new one at the emergency services building? Cause it's very well utilized in the summertime by our crews, and some of the public even sit there
Weren't
and
you
have
the one that
lunch.
donated that one?
My father donated that
Yep.
before he got sick.
Yep.
He built it and donated it.
I think we could come up with something.
We've always had one out there, and they last
Yeah.
about 5-6 years, and they rot away on us. And the highway guys pick them up every winter and store it under the fire station.
I would suggest something that doesn't rot away after.
That's what I was thinking
Nice,
too.
nice steel one.
I've got some at
Pressure
camp,
treated.
I,
What's that?
Concrete.
Pressure treated don't last. They were all pressure treated ones, and
So,
yeah, and they rot away. Even once they're coated and everything, they still only last about 5 years.
yeah, I found some last year at a really good price, I got some for camp, so. We're looking at them, they're the metal plastic,
Awesome.
you can fold up, easy to store.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You're looking at one of those, they weren't that much.
Alright, water and sewer. I've been on vacation for the last week and a half. The only thing I have to report was the fire down on Union Street, South Street. I think it's Union. The water was running after the fire because everything had been melted or cut. And Jeremy went down. I believe they had to put in a new curb stop, basically, shut off the water. I know Alfred was down there and he was digging it up, and I see part of the foundation where the water line went into the basement, taken care of. Prior to that, we had meetings that were going through policies. Did those continue on after I was on vacation?
No,
They didn't? Okay.
no,
Should we do one this week?
You wanna meet Thursday?
sure.
Okay.
I will send out an email about it.
Okay.
At 3?
Yeah, I think it was 3.
3 o'clock, yeah. Do you have anything, Alan?
No. Other than, I think we're finding some good things to update and change in our water rules. That's,
I agree.
I got a couple questions. Do you think when you do your policy changes and stuff, you could change the bill into every quarter instead of every 6 months?
I've moved that kind of stuff, that's a good point.
We've discussed it for the last 4 years.
I think.
So,
I
is
think
it
the
gonna
way, I think the way it was listed, or we put it in our policies, we're giving the board the option to, is that
Yeah.
correct? So,
the way the rules are now, we can't because it's the water rules as they're written say it's twice a year.
yeah.
So once we get that
So-
changed, we,
Is that something that's, you think's gonna happen this year maybe?
If it passes, yeah,
I think we'd have to work with Kylie
yeah,
to,
see if she can do it on her end too.
And then, there's like 19 people that have a discount water rate because they own their water line. So, everybody owns their water line from their shut off to their house.
Right.
So, should we do away with that discount that those 19 people have?
I'm not aware of this.
Alan, you told me about them, Alan.
What's that?
You told me about them. It's, one of it's like where the main line stops on Mullins Avenue, and some people got together and they extended it up through.
Well, that's private water
private
system.
line.
Right, but they get a discount because.
We don't maintain the
You
water
don't maintain
lines,
it.
But you don't maintain my water line from the shut off to my house.
but we maintain the main line. Up there, we don't maintain the mains, we simply sell them the water.
So they get a discount.
But it's their main line.
Yeah, we don't maintain their main
But you
lines.
got people in Richford that have main lines to their house that's really, really long too. If there was an issue, it would cost them a lot of money to fix it.
Well, we maintain the main lines.
Yeah, but you got people that have a really long service to get to their house.
There's a chance we all take.
The homeowners
From the curb stop
curb stop
to the house is their responsibility,
yeah,
the way it reads,
yeah.
so.
So since the town doesn't own that main line, those guys get a discount on the water rate.
I'm not sure on that part.
But
this-
they shouldn't get a discount because they're buying the water, like I'm buying my water.
Their rates are less because we have less cost, because we don't have to ever dig up the lines. They maintain all of that themselves.
But for an example, if there's a house on Harlem Street, I know a guy that lives there, he had trouble with his sewer line. So his sewer line goes the whole length of his property, across his neighbor's property line, down across Harlem Street, down across two more people's line to Maple Street, where it ties into the main line. So if that person ever had a serious problem, he'd be digging a long ways. At my old house on 20 School Street, my sewer line used to come out of the back of my house, go across my neighbor's lawn, goes between Eric's house and the Pink Lady onto Main Street. So that would be another example of a house that
Yeah.
would have a huge bill.
And Mary Wilk Bills had a huge
Right.
bill 2 years ago, and Margot had a huge bill last year, until 2 years ago, I never knew I had a sewer line going across my property.
Yeah,
It's
right.
not in the deed.
But back then, they did put stuff like that in.
Our sewer lines our sewer policy and rules is, we're gonna be working on that as well. But I'm not sure where the mains run for the sewer lines.
But I just think everybody should be treated equal.
I think honestly they are, because you pay more when the town's involved in maintaining the lines. When the town's not involved in maintaining the lines, there's less cost for the town, so.
Is it a percentage, like, are we talking 2%, like, what are we talking as far as the discount?
I don't recall offhand.
Depends how much water you use.
Well, the discount's
Well,
gonna
no,
be,
the
the discount will be the
discount's
same
gotta be the
regardless.
regardless,
I mean,
right?
I'm guessing it's on water rates, so like,
Right.
It's the
What-
water rate.
yeah,
It's
so
the
like-
water rate.
what is it, $7 per 1,000 gallons of treated water or something, is that what you said, for normal?
$7 per 1,000 gallons for the residential rate.
So I mean,
Yeah.
And
so
what
it
do
would,
they pay?
in theory,
on the other
theirs
hand-
might be, you know, this is just a hypothetical, theirs could be $4 per 1,000, because, what Alan said, anything that goes wrong in that section,
It's
they're
on-
liable to fix.
Down to the main road,
It's
right?
like the trailer park, you know, we're not gonna go down to the trailer park and repair the lines down there, it's up to them.
Then you have people that have just sewer. So how are they metered when they don't have a water meter? So do they just pay a base rate?
I'm not aware of anybody that has just
There's people
Sewer.
that have just sewer.
where.
I'm not gonna give names, but if you look in the billing, you're gonna see it.
I mean, I used to do the water bills, and I'm not aware of anybody that had,
I
I
think,
mean, I'm not saying there aren't, I just don't remember anybody that had just sewer.
There is.
it's something I would have to ask,
Or
'cause
was
I'm
it
not
just
sure how
water
it's
and they
going.
had their own sewer?
What's that?
Was there people that just have water and they have their own sewer?
Yeah, there's some people with that, but, you know, again, I don't know how you could have just sewer without water, cause how would we build that?
Right.
Exactly, that's
But
what
I'm
I'm
not-
asking.
I'm not aware that we have anybody like
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Cause you guys just get permission for one to be signed on a year or two ago.
Up on 105, yeah. Past Moon Road, next house up, I think it's Nick Weatherby's.
It's still Atherton Place.
Oh,
Yeah,
but they were already on the water, and they just connected to the sewer, I believe.
okay. So I'm not sure on that, but that's the only one that can pop in my head, so,
Well, there was two houses right there, and they're both already on the water,
okay.
and they simply hooked up to the sewer. They had a private sewer, but were on municipal water, and they just hooked up to the sewer.
So you sure that's public
Yeah.
water?
All right. Parks, playgrounds, cemeteries report.
I don't have anything. No updates. The skating rink is probably closing.
Well, yeah, I would say it's
Done.
had a
It's
good
done.
year.
It did have a good year. Had a great year, and they were able to finish the warming shed, so that was open for the last couple of weeks.
I'm gonna suggest that, since you're new to this, Kristen, you might wanna reach out to Tim. I'm trying to think past select board members that held that. I think my father held that position. Different things to do that you gotta make sure that spring's coming.
Yep.
Comes to mind, I think we get portlets down there,
Yeah.
garbage pickup.
Yeah, I'm gonna meet with Kylie and kind of
Okay.
go over just like my duties and,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't know, I'm just trying to remember some of
Yeah.
the stuff. My father, I can remember him doing some things. Yeah. I think one of the pieces of playground equipment were recently damaged down there,
Okay.
and my father had caught that, and
Yeah, show me pictures.
yeah, he reported it to Andre, and I think Andre was gonna probably follow up on it, but yeah.
Yeah, and I know there's been grants in the past that have helped with some of the buildings
lot of
and
play
play-
stuff,
yeah,
yeah.
play stuff, so
Yeah.
I can work with Michael on seeing if there's anything.
The other thing
out
is the
there.
building down there too,
Yeah, we gotta take a look at that.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kylie told
well,
me about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how it weathered. Yeah, we did a stopgap measure last year. So I think we just. Yeah.
And then, I met with Mrs. Quick Paddle Paddle, so that's an event that takes place at Davis
Yep.
Park. They gave me a list of things for the select board. I forgot to bring it, so I'll have to bring it at the next meeting to go over some of what they request, which is very, very minimal, but I will bring that up. And that's something that I've been helping plan. I did it last year with them, and something that goes on at Davis Park that we help kind of set up.
Okay.
Does the rec committee do anything with that, or is it more of the town's
They
responsibility?
so I mean, well, they ask for like permission to use the park,
Right,
and
right.
sign out a date. The rec committee hasn't, but I think we're gonna try to this year. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not speaking on behalf of them, but I know there are a lot of people that go to this, so it could be a good opportunity.
Okay. Other business. I had this one, I'm gonna convene into a board of liquor control at one point. Planning commission, we got a vacant seat here, I missed this. Did we talk about Rachel Dollar, considering her, appointing her for a vacant seat, planning commission?
No, we did not.
That Sherry Pocket gave up. Okay.
I'm gonna be literally upside down.
What's that?
So I'm gonna be literally upside down.
Okay. So that's one thing that probably should,
I'll
there's
make a
no
motion.
mention on who wrote this or not, but this is thinking,
It was John.
John, okay.
Yeah, he's
I'll make the
the
motion.
planning commission.
Okay, so you can make a motion
I'll make a
for Rachel
motion,
Dollar, and have her fill the vacant seat. I hear a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. One thing I've been forgetting about is it what day do you wanna do the, coin drop here in town for the fire department? Do you remember? It's in April.
When is it, the second weekend or third weekend?
I think it's the second weekend.
It's like, it's the Saturday before Easter, ain't it? I think,
Anyway, the fire department's looking for permission to hold a coin drop here in town to raise funds. With a recent purchase, we've dwindled our savings, so,
Second weekend in April.
we're thinking,
2 seconds.
Possibly
I just sent
third.
Shelby a text.
okay.
She
So
was
we're,
the ringleader.
so the fire department's looking for approval, you make a motion,
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. So,
The 15th,
the 15th, so.
3rd.
Alright, Alright, so at this time, we need to, how is it worded, Eric?
We want to,
Make a motion to go out of this meeting and then go into
recess versus
Okay.
adjourn.
recess.
Do you have to do anything about April 1st? Shelby just sent me that date.
Oh, well, this would be Parks, which ones you wanna use.
She was talking about Davis.
Okay. Easter egg hunt, basically, we're looking for permission to hold the Easter egg hunt down at Davis Park. It's happened the last few years. Eggs and things, donations have already been given to us, so.
I make a motion to approve that.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
One person forgot. The silence phone.
My phone doesn't silence, unfortunately. I have to totally turn it off.
I just let her know they were.
It's an old phone. The volume is.
So make a motion to recess to go into the Board of Liquor Control to approve said businesses, basically.
I'll make a motion to go to recess.
Okay,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
To go into the liquor.
Convene the Board of Liquor Control. Please approve the Richford Country Club in Jolly. Usually we have paperwork that we can look over. It's all electronic now, so I'm just gonna pass this around.
Are you familiar with the classes, Sherry? What those mean? Is that just for educational purposes?
Yes, the class that they're applying for there is for liquor and also malted beverages
And
Solid.
tobacco.
and tobacco.
So that's what second class means, and then what's third class?
I think third class is what wine tasting, possibly outside drinking,
Which would be
the restaurant that he's got.
Yeah,
Just that kind of thing.
it's just country club and
yeah.
Country
Jolly
club,
right
same
now.
thing.
And then we'll expect to probably get the rest in the next couple weeks, the next couple months,
that's
or
what I
next
was
month.
told.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there's to serve.
So you have to abstain.
I'm abstaining from Jolly's, yes. I abstain because I work there. Maybe
Yeah,
I
You
have-
should abstain from the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to
I have abstained from the whole thing.
approve the country club and Jolly's.
When you say it's electronic now, is that, it's not our electronic, it's state electronic?
Right,
Yeah.
everything you fill out now,
The
you have to
businesses
go online
submitted
to.
directly
Yeah.
to
And
the
then we get that printout to,
Yes,
Permit or
Okay.
license.
This is new.
Yeah. okay.
Hopefully it works better than Lace does.
So I'll make a motion to approve the Jolly and the Country Club for the liquor license. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
I'll make a motion to come out of the liquor board, is that the right terminology? And re-enter our
The select
regular
board.
scheduled board meeting,
Should we just a motion to recess the liquor control board, right?
adjourn, isn't it?
Adjourn the.
Adjourn,
Adjourn.
and re-enter our.
Come out of recess.
Yeah,
So question, has he come over to do any stuff yet?
I'll have to ask Jason.
Okay.
That'd be
I haven't talked to him, but Jason asked me not to.
Do I get a second on this?
I'll double check.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
yeah, just, didn't it, cause he wanted to break it to me.
Do we have
Right.
any
Has nothing to do with my work.
other business?
May I add one?
Sure.
I think I sent it to Michael this morning, but there is a class for municipal officials and boards that's being offered, I believe, online, maybe next week. or maybe
30th.
first day,
The 30th is the online one, right?
Yep.
you know, for the purpose of education for open meeting law.
Yeah.
I've noted those, Eric, and unfortunately I am away on business next week. I'm out of town.
Yeah.
I may
it's
be able
the
to
type of
attend
thing
one.
you'll
I
be
registered.
able to sign
You
on
did?
later.
On the, are you
registered.
doing
I'll be
online?
No,
I do
no,
it
no,
online.
Oh,
next
I'm
week,
gonna do
next
online, but I'll
month.
be.
Next- oh,
yeah, 'cause
some
I have
next
that
month.
off.
Record that stuff.
okay, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the meetings
I
now are webinars,
bought-
so.
Okay.
A satellite thing
Yes, thank you, Eric.
for Wi-Fi, Starlink.
Okay,
Question, I have 2 benches down in the basement of the post office that I would like to see brought up. They're metal framed with wooden slats for back and bottom. I'd like them to be put out here in the front of the town hall here, cause it's the only place under a roof.
In the basement in the post office?
Yes,
Benches.
and they're solid, there's nothing wrong with them,
Okay.
but they would need, I would bolt them down.
are you looking for stuff for the town boys to do? Is that-
Well, I think that's what she's asking me to have them do.
Yes.
Okay, cause I do have one, that piece of property out back of the fire station is littered with old toys and it's gonna need
Lot of
cleaned up come
garbage.
this spring,
Okay.
so.
Isn't that good?
Yep. Okay.
Perfect. I think it'd be a nice setting area so that people here that work here can go outside and sit, or when there's meetings here, people can go outside and sit and come in.
That doesn't mean you, Michael.
Okay. Didn't you read it? Is that it for other business?
Yes. I mean, yes, I
So
believe.
I'm looking for a motion to adjourn at this point.
I'll make motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.